Thanks a lot for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. So to our next discussion now, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has finally picked a former governor of Borno State, Senator Kashim Shettima, as his substantive running mate for the 2023 presidential election. Tinubu made this announcement while addressing journalists after meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in Daura, Katsina State during the Salah homage. Now, before we get to our next discussion, let's bring up this report by TVC News' Ola Awakong.
Bola Tinubu arrived in Katsina State to pay Salah homage to President Muhammadu Buhari in his hometown in Daura. He is received by Governor Aminu Masari and other chieftains of the party in the state. They moved straight to Daura, where President Muhammadu Buhari received the APC presidential candidate and his entourage, comprising Senator Olamilekan Solomon, James Faleke, Minister of Youth and Sport, Sunday Dare, and other party chieftains. After the closed-door meeting, Tinubu publicly laid to rest the question of his substantive running mate as he picked former governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, while the placeholder, Kabiru Masari's withdrawal, was mentioned.
The only one that was in place as a replacement withdraw today, and there'll be already an announcement to replace him fully with a substantive,
The substantive one.
Kashim Shettima. I've not discussed with him. I've disclosed it to you. Since I've disclosed it to the president, he competent, capable, reliable, and able.
Tinubu is optimistic that APC will win in the 2023 presidential election.
Inshallah, we're going to win.
Why are you so confident?
Because we are a progressive party. We have the focus on Nigerian problems. We faces the challenge squarely. We are not running away from it. We have a better program for the people and about the people and ready to serve.
He moved from there to the palace of the Emir of Daura, Alhaji Farouk Umar Farouk. The All Progressives Congress is now saddled with the task of ensuring that the Tinubu-Shettima ticket becomes a victory come 2023 presidential election. Ola Awakong, TVC News, Katsina.
Joining us to discuss this emergence of the former Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima as Tinubu's running mate. Now we have in the studio APC Chieftain Ayodele Adewale. Welcome to the program. It's good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. And joining us from our Abuja studio is the coordinator, Tinubu Support Group in Bayelsa State, Prince Sepitimi Angbare. It's good to have you join us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you so very much. Yeah, a bit to me, this is Samomashe. How did you receive the news of Kashim Shettima as the running mate to Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
With gladness, because it's well thought out. Well thought out because for us, well thought out, and we received it with gladness because we trusted the judgment of our leader, and we knew that he will come up with the best of decisions. And this judgment for us is good to go. Good to go.
All right, let me throw the question to Mr. Adewale here in the studio. We heard Asiwaju and speak about the fact that when announcing Mr. Shettima, Senator Shettima, he said he hadn't even been told, and we had seen the Borno State former governor, always present at all of the nationwide tours that Asiwaju made before his emergence as the presidential flag bearer. In assessing your reaction to his emergence, how do you weigh all this?
You see, one of the very most important things in choosing your comrade, as the case is now, is deputy, is for you to choose somebody who you really understand, who you have worked with, who knows your thinking, and who knows the plan. You said it quite frankly that during the build-up to the presidential convention that saw Ashwaju as the standard bearer of the party, is part of the inner circle that midwife all the plans and of course actioned it. So it's not a surprise that he has won that spot in the heart of Ashwaju, despite the fact that he had not been told. Remember, it was on this show that I did mention about 3 of them that are likely to win that position. And Ashwaju have made the best choice. Also looking at his track record, Mr. Shettima is from the academic environment, having been a lecturer before, and is also from the entrepreneurial banking sector. He understands business very well. He understands how to raise funds, and Nigeria needs someone with that capacity so that we can stop borrowing. And having been a governor of Borno State, one of the most troublesome, worrisome state in terms of insurgency, he understands the rudiment of making sure that tranquility, safety, security is achieved. Don't also be quick to forget that there have always been a germane discussion on state policing and how to effectively police our environment. He created the civilian JTF during his time. Asiwaju likewise created the RRS, regardless of the fact that they don't have that enormity as it is now in social reality within the Nigerian contradiction. So having these 2 square pegs, I think the issue of security will be tackled very well, and I think we should be looking at having state police as they come into office by the grace of God. And I think Nigeria will be better off having the 2 of them as a team.
All right, let's put you on hold and get back to our guest in Abuja.
A bit to me, some people have said, oh, this is a Muslim ticket, and therefore it does not really reflect the Nigerian diversity. How do you respond to that?
I'll come from 3 perspectives. Let me, first of all, talk about the historical perspective. 30 years ago, we had the opportunity to solve a major problem. The SDP, the leadership of the SDP in 1993 decided to tackle this evil. One of the main evils bedeviling this nation, religion, the issue of religion. They came together and picked 2 of their own as 2 Muslims to run for the presidential ticket. Late Basharu MK Abiola and Ambassador Babagana Kingibe. They wanted to solve a problem. They went to the market with their candidates. They sold them to the Nigerian public. The Nigerian public bought the candidates. The results of June 12th showed clearly that Nigerians wanted to put an end to this evil called religion. The enemy came up through the military to annul that election. Today, fate has brought another opportunity for us to address this issue once and for all. Some of the strong men of that era are still alive. And we have Babagana Kingibe. We also have Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was a front runner in that era. Today, he is the flag bearer. And he has the opportunity to fix this problem. And I'm very sure, very, very sure, that we will go to the market again. We will sell it to Nigerians, and Nigerians will buy it. Because we have heard people already, since yesterday, I've heard many people say, will religion help? Now, will religion help? People know that religion is not our problem. Now, the second perspective will be, who is the man making this nomination? Can you fault Asiwaju along the lines of religion? You can't fault him. The records are there to speak for him. Lagos today, every year, organizes the annual Thanksgiving service. Papa Adeboye is the one that preaches most times. And this is happening every year in Lagos. We initiated that, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I tell people, especially those who are shouting, you don't need to shout. We have an Esther in the house. Senator Tinubu is a pastor. When you have an Esther in the house, you know that the Jews will never be consumed. A man's better half is a Christian, and you want to condemn that man that is not religious sensitive. That's not true. The next leg is, who is the man that he is nominating? Shettima's record is also there. The CAN chairman in Borno State, Bishop Naga Williams Mohammed, said that in his time as governor, the Christians in Borno State enjoyed his support. He was always there for them. It's also on record that in his government, he followed the footpaths of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what Asiwaju did in Lagos. He nominated Christians to serve in his cabinet. And if you know the man, Senator Shettima, is a liberal person, very liberal person. So we should not talk about, I'm a Christian. I'm a deacon for that matter. But I am a liberal Christian. And all liberal Christians will embrace this ticket. Only those who hold on to religion and put it as slates on their neck will want to, and of course, they are not sincere about it. It will be clear that they are not sincere about it. So we don't see this ticket as faulty in any way.
We've been speaking with a Tinubu ally who is heading the Tinubu support group in Bayelsa State, Prince Ebitimi Angbare. He's standing by and has been speaking from our Abuja studio. And Ayodele Adewale, an APC chieftain here in Lagos, is also with us. Still with you, Prince Angbare. So we'll be seeing more of Senator Shettima now, of course, as he continues to now crisscross, resume crisscrossing the country now, selling the Tinubu Shettima ticket. But his strides as governor in Borno State has now been revived. People weighing how he fared and how relevant he will be to offering solutions to national problems at this time. What do you have to say in this regard?
He fared well as a governor. He introduced the civilian JTF, and which is what most governors are asking for today. You know, he understands the problem of insurgency. He was in the middle of it. And his background as an agroeconomist clearly puts him in a good position to work, and of course his rich experience coming from the banking industry puts him, makes him to fit the bill of a vice president. The major responsibility, the constitutional role of a vice president is to manage the economy. So he is well prepared, well suited to walk into that office and hit the ground running from day one. So you cannot fault him when you talk about competence. You cannot also fault him when you talk about a politician. You can't fault him as a politician. He's a team player. We were together when we had, during this, he was always with us here in Abuja. And you'll see him relate with people down to earth, come down to their level. Of course, he's a young man. He fits into that age bracket of a youth. So he comes down to that level, talks with people, stand for hours to engage people, talk with people. So it's somebody who is fit to play this role, to play that complementary, to give Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that complementary role.
Mr. Adewale, so what do you make of this? So security, of course, will continue to be at the front burner, even in campaigns when the window officially opens. But for us, down south or further south, how do you think Senator Shettima will fare selling this ticket, this joint ticket?
Well, it's very advantageous because he's coming from a society whereby everybody is on guard and security is their main business there. But like I said, he has been able to think out of the box to create an auxiliary that the Nigerian military have used to understand the terrain. The only reason why America lost in the Vietnam War was that they don't understand the terrain very well and they could not really apply their system and technology there. So you have someone that understands its terrain, understand what insecurity is, and understand how to tackle it using local intelligence. And like I said, Asiwaju also created the RRS at a time where Lagos was bedeviled with a lot of crime. He couldn't control the police directly, but creating that structure, they were able to fund it. Not just funding it with the IGR and federal allocation, they created a separate stream of funding that made it very independent. So by the time you blend these two thoughts together, we are moving towards state police, either we like it or not. You understand? And I can tell you that when the issue of the state police come again to the National Assembly, they are going to have full support of the executive. And we are moving towards solving insecurity.
Even though it's been said at a point that Asiwaju Tinubu wasn't so outspoken about the issue of the Amotekun, for example. Of course, you've mentioned this, it's on record anyway, the RRS strides that Asiwaju made as governor. But then when you now look at it, on the broader perspective, that, the Boko Haram insurgency that was paramount during Shettima's time as governor has since, developed further. Now we have banditry, now we have ASWAP's involvement, and all that, how that will enhance the capacity to rule and give Nigerians a better treatment in terms of security.
Well, from your first narrative about his outspokenness, Asiwaju have been very outspoken, even before this nascent democracy that we started in 1999. So the issue of whether he talks at when you want him to talk doesn't really matter. He has been talking and he has been walking the talk. Now, going forward, you see, the major thing that can stand down the insecurity is creation of opportunities, especially for youth and all of that. And I do mind is a devil workshop. Asiwaju is an A-class student while growing up. He also demonstrated his brilliance while working in the business environment. And he has also done so in the civil society's engagement that he has been confronted with, and of course in governance. Now, putting all of this together, you are the one driving the ship now, or driving the car. It's not as if you are going through a third party. So many of his brilliance and his political capital will be put into being. A lot of policies will change. Policies that will make investment and investor coming to our economy will change for the better, that will attract them. That you are going to see. And you are going to see a lot of job creation. And remember, he has said that education will be free up to university level. People wonder how can you do this and all of that. Creating infrastructure in the academia, blocking leakages, and giving them full-fledged autonomy in order to run their system. These are pilots that will help education get to that crescendo.
People have talked about Asiwaju's liberalism, but in a society where we have a lot of bigotry here and there, we forget to talk about the virtue. I want to talk about the virtue of having two liberal human beings who have worked with corporations, who have come with ideas, and who have moved around the country. Well, like Shettima, for instance, there was what do you call it? There was a seminar once organized in Lagos here, where there was J.P. Clark and all of them, and then he stood up and started reeling out the works of J.P. Clark. This is a businessman, a man with corporate experience, talking about Zidi, talking about his plays and poems and so on and so forth. Now, talk about the blending of these two personalities and what kind of Nigeria that itself can create.
Well, it is true that Asiwaju is liberal, but also don't forget that he has a left bend. He's bent towards the left. And while growing up, it was not born with a silver spoon. He actually grew, you understand, within all the social contradiction that you have in Nigeria. So he understands the middle class, he understands the lower class, and of course, the upper, that some people will term as the bourgeoisie and all of that. So he understands, and he speaks various language towards their interest. Now, the other person, Mr. Shettima, also understands these things very well, to have excelled in his academic activity, especially to have schooled in the West, University of Ibadan, for that matter.
Yes.
It's no pushover. And of course, he schooled, he lived his life in Lagos. So he understands the hustle and bustle. It's not as if he met one family inheritance and he became a spoiled child and grew into a lot of abundance. These people walked their way up.
And became an academic.
You understand? They walked their way up. So they mixed with different interest groupings within the society, and they've not cut themselves out of social realities. So these social realities we put on the table, bringing friends together, bringing eggheads together, and Asiwaju know how to hunt for eggheads in order to move systems forward. Let's
get to back to Prince Ambere, who is standing by for us in Abuja. So 2 questions for you rolled up into one. First is, you head the Bayelsa support group for, of course, in support of the Asiwaju, now the Asiwaju Shettima ticket. So what's the party likely to get from the South-South? Of course, it's a game of numbers, and these are political implications. So that's on the one hand, the South-South, how this would add up for the gains, as gains for the APC. And on the other hand, we've seen how the emergence of an Atiku Okowa ticket has created upset substantially in the camp of Governor Wike. How is the party now going to dance around the issue of the fact that, some other, contenders weren't picked? Governor El-Rufai, for example. How is the party going to ensure that all hands are on deck to support the Asiwaju Tinubu Shettima ticket?
Thank you. We went into town as early as yesterday to start the job of marketing the joint tickets of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Shettima. And I can tell you that the response is good. We're just yet to hit the ground, but the response that we are getting, it's very, very good. And we are going to go into the nooks and the crannies, because what people are looking at is basically performance. They know the records of these 2 leaders, and they see the combination as unique, okay? And so nobody is going to talk about religion. And especially, you talked about South-South. Our daughter is the wife, is the next first lady by the grace of God. So that gives us that comfort that we have our daughter in the house who is a Christian. And when the mother is in the house, the benefits of having the mother in the house. You won't be hungry. The kitchen will always be there for you. We will always access the kitchen. So these people of South-South know that we will access the kitchen without problem. You understand? So for us in South-South, it's our business. It's our matter. Religion is secondary. Because we know that's, I told you earlier, I made one quote earlier. Somebody said, will religion help? That is what has been happening, flying from the social media since last night. Will religion help? So we are going to take this message to the nooks and crannies of the creeks. And we will make sure that by the grace of God, we do the needful. And it will not be difficult to sell this ticket in South.
And like I
especially
also
Bayelsa
asked,
State.
will there be need to placate any ruffled feathers in the APC now that Mr. Shettima has emerged as the running mate?
You trust Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If anyone is feeling worried, troubled, if anyone is not happy, he will reach out to the person. He will definitely reach out to the person. But so far, even Zulum, if we talk about governors that are popular, Governor Zulum is very popular in the north. But very early in the day, Governor Zulum nominated Shettima. He pleaded with Asiwaju to make Shettima his running mate. And I know that Governor Zulum on his own will be looking out for anyone that is aggrieved in the north to talk to them and to calm them down. So it's not going to be a problem at all.
You were talking about the fact that the incoming, as you put it, First Lady is our daughter, as the way you put it. Please, can you give us details about that? Because I know that she's from, she has Shekiri roots in Delta State, and so on.
Very correct. That's where I am drawing my inspiration from.
All right. Okay, so let's also come back to the studio. Mr. Adewale, so like I said earlier on, like you know, politics is a game of numbers. The APC has expressed way before now its desire to win this, realistically speaking and looking at all the realities on ground. But okay, so the North now will be a factor now. Some have posited that the North, how will the APC now, swing the votes in its favor? There is Atiku in the PDP. Of course, there's the Southeast, implications as to this. Is the APC sure of its footing in the Southeast? We've asked about the South dimensions. And even in the Southwest, too, there is also, some considerable attention as to how all these nationwide will add up, for the APC.
In talking about numbers, aside from Lagos and the Southwest, one of the biggest strongholds of the APC, of course, is the North in terms of geopolitical placing. President Buhari has his numbers. If you have watched the trajectory of all the votes, right from when he started contesting, the numbers have been there. Mr. Shettima has his number. Mr. Zulum has his number. You understand? You also have other allies from the Sokoto enclave, the Kaduna, and all the way down to Kogi. They have their numbers. When you come to the east, the numbers are adding up. And the South-South, they are also adding up. Regardless of whether you have governors of those areas, but those nuclear structures are going to add up. You're going to take them in bits and pieces and capitalize on the crisis within the PDP. Because again, they're not truthful to themselves. Unlike the Asiwaju's picking of his candidates, he sat down, consulted. That was why the placeholder thing was there, to give him more opportunity to consult and aggregate all of those consultations into strength. So people have been discussed with.
The Tinubu factor or the Tinubu Shettima factor would give the party a better outing as against the 5% it recorded in the Southeast, for example, at the last election.
It makes it power more. It makes it power more and all that. They've told you about the Shekiri nation. I'm also Shekiri, partly. My great-grandmother is Shekiri from the Boyos. So
I never knew that.
I never knew that.
From the Boyos. My auntie is Auntie Helen that married Dr. Alex Akweme, the former vice president, and all of that. You understand? Those factors will come in. I know a lot of friends that were in NANS together. They're in the PDP and they are reaching out. That, look, we are going to work for your father, we are going to work for your boss, and all of that. So you are going to see these nucleus structures all coming out because they know under Asiwaju's presidency, Nigeria will be greater.
Now, I want you to look at this issue of the role of religion, what both of them have done in their own areas. Like Like, you know, I read earlier the confessions of the CAN chairman in Borno State while Shettima was governor. And then what Asiwaju also did there. And it looks like some of the things these Muslim candidates have done, many Christian stalwarts in politics cannot even hold their finger to it.
I'll give you an example. I went to St. Gregory's College. It's a Christian Catholic school. When Asiwaju came in, he had promised them before becoming governor that he was going to return mission schools back to missionaries. A lot of people didn't believe, but he went ahead to return it. Many Christian governors couldn't, even till now. And those mission schools have done better because they've been given back to their owners and all of that. You see, it's about trust. The man from South did say, talked about Asiwaju establishing the yearly Thanksgiving service that have always been led by Pastor Adiboye and all of that. Till date, it has become an institution in Lagos, and some other states are borrowing from it. That was done by a Muslim. So Asiwaju is not a religious bigot. He's very liberal. He believes that everybody come along, let's build society together and hold on to your beliefs.
All right. Okay, so I don't know if we have, some more time now to get final takes from you both, beginning with Prince Angbare in Abuja. Let's talk about some other present-day realities, like the power of social media. For the Labour Party, for example, now it's been said that that has been to their advantage, with the substantive running mate of the party even going as far as saying that this time around, despite speculation, the social media will vote. How are you viewing these trends as to how it could even favor the APC?
We are strong too in the social media, and we will do better as we go into the main season of campaign. We are strong, we are doing well, and we're ready to win at the level of social media and be ready to also win in the field. So we are leaving no stone unturned. We will be there for them, and they will know that we are ready for them. There is no way they will beat us in the social media. So, but they must be ready to also come to the field.
What do you think, Mr. Adewale?
But social media doesn't vote.
Social media is very important. They vote. They are human beings that are there. I'm on social media, you're on social media, we have our voters card.
But did they vote in 2019?
They voted.
How?
Don't be skewed. Don't be skewed by the narrative that people in social media don't vote. They are human beings. Yes, a lot of them might be throwing tantrums and all of that, but the reality is that they are passing information. And those informations are very good.
Are also helping to gauge.
And also help, you understand, right, to gauge the system and, of course, build the system.
So in 2023, or even in the build-up now, are we seeing a smooth flow, or what's your observation so far?
Asiwaju is on social media. Go and check his Instagram page and some other things. He believes in technology. He had worked within that environment, and he worked with a lot of youth. So technology is very important as we move forward, especially for INEC. We're going to see, God willing, under Asiwaju's leadership, that INEC are going to be well funded. We are going to have an opportunity to be registering seamlessly without going to queue. Perhaps before the end of his 8-year term, we are going to have a situation whereby people in the diaspora will also be voting as Nigerians here. A situation whereby you can vote with your phones. You can mail your votes, and your vote will count. Where all the hierarchies that have surrounded our electoral processes will become a thing of the past. These are what technology under the Asiwaju leadership will gain for Nigeria and Nigerians. All
right, gentlemen, a safe place, like our man Kelly would say, a safe place to rest our discussion at this time. Prince Ebitimi Angbare, the Bayelsa State Coordinator of the Tinubu Support Group, we say a big thank you for your contributions on the program. And of course, we cannot
thank you,
but also thank you, Mr. Ayodele Adewale. Thank you so much for always being there.
Thank you for the privilege.